Friends. Welcome to day 2 of our 5-day training of 5 simple strategies to actually enjoy being stuck inside with your toddler. So yesterday, if you missed yesterday's video, it was very foundational. We were talking about mindset. Because your mindset is the core foundation for everything, but especially surviving, and not only surviving, but actually enjoying being at home with your toddler. So if you missed yesterday's video, please go back, watch it, and apply it. So today we're going to talk about something a little bit more specific and tangible. Yesterday was the mindset. So that was a lot more intangible, obviously, because it's what you're thinking. But really what you're thinking and how you approach things, your attitude, is 100% going to affect how everything else works out. So today we're going to talk about step number 2. And step number 2 is to create an environment that is nurturing and pleasant to be in. Okay? So this does not mean, let me tell you what this does not mean, okay? This does not mean that your home is perfect. This does not mean that your home is perfectly clean all the time. Everything is where it needs to go at all times. There's never toys on the floor. There's never dirty laundry. That's totally unrealistic, first of all. Like, hello, if we have kids, there's going to be toys on the floor. Like right now in my living room, there are toys on the floor. I'll just tell you right now, because I have a 2-year-old or an almost 2-year-old. So it doesn't mean that our home is perfect and, guest ready at all times in the sense of like, yeah, perfect. But having an environment that's nurturing and pleasant to be in, this is what I mean when I say this. The main area of the home where you are going to be spending the majority of the time with your toddler is organized with the fact that your child is there the majority of the time in mind. So you set up the main areas with your child's comfort, with your child's nurture in mind, and you do everything within your power to create an environment in your home that's pleasant to be in, okay? This looks a little bit different for everybody, but it's going to look like toys that they're allowed to play with independently, lower down so that they're easy to access. The board books that they're allowed to read on their own, lower down on the shelf so they're easy to access for their child. One of my favorite things personally to have is I call it a cozy corner, where I have this really gigantic stuffed teddy bear that's like 2 times the size of my daughter, and a bunch of pillows and some blankets, and it's right in the corner next to the bookshelf that has all the books that she is allowed to touch on it. And so that's where she can go whenever she wants to sit down and read a book. And so creating an environment that is nurturing of your child. Access to whatever it is you want to allow them to have access to, whether you have puzzles they're allowed to play with, stuffed animals that they're allowed to play with, anything that your child is allowed to touch freely, allowed to play with freely, their favorite blocks, their favorite dolly, a toy kitchen, whatever, is easily accessible to them and in an area where they'll actually use it. Okay, if their stuffed animals belong in a bin in the closet, that's not going to be very easy for a young child who has a hard time opening doors to access. So they're not going to play with the stuffed animals. So kind of deciding for yourself. For me, I like having a nice mix of educational things like puzzles and sorting toys and things like that, along with books, and then some stuffed animals and a toy kitchen, things like that. Easily accessible. Make sure that your home is it's pleasant to be in, really designing it with your child in mind. And that can be hard because sometimes that means we have to give up some of the things we like for the season. Sometimes it means that we need to maybe put away certain knickknacks or certain books even. Something that I've done recently is I've actually taken some of my old books that I really value a lot and really love, and I've actually packed them up because my daughter doesn't quite know how to properly touch an old book that's already falling apart without ripping it more. And so I've decided I packed those up because it's not contributing to creating the environment of her giving her an ability to explore. So basically, having that environment that's nurturing and pleasant to be in. So having toys and activities that are easily accessible to your child, the things they're allowed to touch independently. Other things that can really create a nice, pleasant environment is having soft music playing. I like to do worship music or instrumental classical music, just quietly in the background that's good for their little brains to hear, especially classical music. Having a diffuser going so that the home smells pleasant, so that, there's that aromatherapy aspect where picking oils that will kind of enhance the mood you want to create, right? There's lots of oils out there that can kind of increase your focus and can increase your calm and can increase different aspects of your mental state. So having an essential oil diffuser going or a candle, baking things, having snacks and foods that are available, again, that just kind of create this environment of hospitality, even for your family. Your family should be the place where really your hospitality really starts. And so when we take the time to craft an environment that is pleasant to be in, right? A haven for our family, it's going to make days when we're stuck inside and can't leave pleasant and actually very enjoyable, because home is a pleasant place to be. Okay. And so some things that you can do to do that, I've already given quite a few suggestions, but other things is really assess, and do you need to declutter? Do you need to actually get rid of some stuff? Do you have too many toys? Do you have too much of something? Sometimes less is more. Kids don't need a bajillion toys. A few very well chosen toys that have an intentional purpose, whether it's imagination, whether it's education, whether it's teaching them something or what. But having a few toys is far better than having a million, because they kind of get overwhelmed and there's a bit of a sensory overload. So do you need to maybe declutter and actually get rid of some stuff, or pack some stuff up and kind of put it away for a season? And really just kind of select the ones that you really want them to really be playing with and utilizing. And make sure that you want to find a balance between an environment that's nurturing and pleasant to be in for your child, but also for yourself. What can you do to make it pleasant for yourself? Is there a pillow that you just really love, or a throw blanket that is your favorite to curl up in with some hot cocoa? Do you have an activity that you like doing? Do you like to sew? Do you like to knit? Do you like to crochet? Do you like to color? Do puzzles? What's something that you like to do, a hobby, an indoor hobby that you have? One thing that I do is incorporate in our space that's very nurturing is I have an area where I have my crochet. I love to crochet. So when it's time to sit down and have a minute of my own, I can pull that out, and my daughter can be reading a book and I can be crocheting a blanket or whatever. But having a balance of, it's not only nurturing for your child. You want it to be nurturing for your child and a pleasant environment for them, but it needs to be pleasant for you too, as the parent. And so picking, again, when you pick essential oils, pick the scents that you like for the candle or the essential oil. When you're going to bake something, make sure it's something you want to eat too. And have a nice mix there. But really, when we take the time, and sometimes it does take a little bit of time to set this up, but when we take the time to intentionally create an environment in our home that really nurtures the soul, nurtures the imagination, nurtures relationships, we're going to reap the benefits of that, not only on inside days, but any days. I don't know about you guys, but one of my dreams is I want my home to be the place my kids want to go. I want my home to be the home where all the kids want to come hang out at my house. Not like that they're ready to get out of there as soon as possible. That I want to be the home and the environment that all my kids' friends want to come hang out at my house with my kids. And so because that's one of my heart is that openness of I want people to feel comfortable and welcome here, creating that environment of even if it's not perfect, there's still toys on the floor. There's still dishes in the sink that need to get washed. There's still things that need to happen. Like there's still things that could be done better. But overall, having comfortable seating, having cozy corners, having activities that kids can come in and access freely. It's not this whole, no touch, right? Nobody ever wanted to go over to the house of the older relative who had everything covered in plastic and everything was glass and you couldn't touch anything and you had to sit there with your hands folded, right? No kid likes that. Don't be that house. Be the house that's soft and comfortable and has toys and games and books and coloring and things that they can do without getting in trouble. And have that freedom and give them that freedom to pick and choose what they want to do. Yes, here's your bookshelf. You get to read any of these books that you want whenever you want. Free reign. This is the stuffed animal bin. You can get stuffed animals out and play with them whenever you want. That's totally fine, right? Things like that. This creates this environment and it nurtures the imagination. It nurtures the soul. It nurtures just your child. And it nurtures you too when you relax into it. Okay. So that is the second step. So just kind of a recap. Yesterday we talked about mindset. Your attitude, your mindset is the foundation. You need to have a positive mindset. You can rewatch yesterday's video to get that details, the details on that. Today, recap. Once you have your mindset in place, you want your environment to be in place. You want an environment that's pleasant to be in. What that exactly looks like for you and your family is going to be a little bit varied. I can give you ideas and thoughts based on what I do for my family with my circumstance, but ultimately it's your home. It's your domain. It's your authority. You choose how you want your home to feel. What does nurturing and comfortable and cozy and pleasant feel like for you? Is it that specific candle and that teddy bear? Is it having this thing in the oven while you're playing this particular music CD? Whatever it is, you get to decide. But really take a minute and assess what does nurturing and pleasant to be in look like for your home? And set that up. And make decisions that allow that to be kind of how your home always is. Do you need to get rid of things? Do you need to maybe pack some things up and put them in the attic or the garage for a while, some storage, until your kids get older and those things are more age appropriate? So that is step number 2. And keep your eye out for tomorrow. I'll come back with step number 3. One thing too, guys, I have a list of indoor activities to give you ideas, especially in creating an environment. If you take a look at that list of activities, you can get some ideas on what type of things you want to have available to your child. The list is split up into 2 sections. There's one section that's independent activities. And there's another section that's parent-involved activities or adult supervised activities. Especially looking at those independent activity lists, take a look at that and kind of assess, are there things on that list that you could arrange in your main area where your child spends most of their time to make those accessible so that they can have that independent playtime, even maybe on their own, and they can decide like, oh, I'm going to color right now, or I want to read this book right now. That list can help give you some ideas for even how to organize and how to arrange things. So please, it's a free download. The link is in the description of the video, so you can go ahead and download that. And I'd love to hear any ideas you have. Maybe if you have your home set up in a way that you just really love and is working really well for you, it's organized in a way that just really works for your family. I'd love to see a picture or for you to share a description of what you're doing, because it may help someone else to get some inspiration and ideas on how they could make their space work best for their family. All right, friends. So if you have anything to share, please share it in the comments. And don't forget to download that free PDF list of activities. And I will see you all tomorrow. Have